Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 3rd board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask Mr. Slade for a word of prayer.
I'll be glad to. Let's pray. Father, thank you for the beauty of the day, for the opportunity of gathering together, Father, to realize and to acknowledge that we need your help, we need your wisdom and your discernment and your guidance. Father, I pray that these men would have exactly what they need today so that they can make good and wise decisions. Father, I pray that what is said and done here today will be pleasing to you. Father, that the citizens of Rankin County will know that their government works for them. Father, that their government is effective and is responsive. And thank you for that privilege. In Christ's name, amen.
All right, public comments. Got anybody public comment? Old business.
I make a motion to approve October 15th and October 30th minutes.
Second.
Brad made a motion. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consent agenda. Has everybody had time to look over the consent? Any questions?
I make a motion to approve.
I second that motion. Brad made a motion to approve. I second the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We got one little change, Miss Stacy, we got, Mr. Slade gonna come up and, he's got a part and Brett's gotta go do some fire training, so we need to take care of this first.
I apologize to my assessor for jumping the gun on it here. We're going to go to item L under my section of the agenda, item L. This is consideration of and potential action under Mississippi Code section 43-35-103 to condemn.
That's 103, right?
Yes, sir.
Just make sure. Okay.
Yes, sir. To condemn certain properties. This is the John Thomas and Anna Louise Hendon property at 612 Williams Road. I'm going to open that public hearing and ask if John Thomas or Anna Louise Hendon is present. Mr. President, I don't see them present for the public hearing. We will proceed. Brian's going to demonstrate with the photos. Mr. Ishii is here, fire coordinator. He is heavily involved in this process of consideration under this particular code section where we are looking at the potential for having to condemn real property under life safety considerations. So as you watch the demonstration that Brian's going to give us, be cognizant that what you're looking for are issues of life safety, and Mr. Ishii will address his findings as well. If necessary.
Or you want us to watch this first? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I take it that the property owners were notified and knew that they were having a public hearing on this today?
No, the letters was sent out, yes.
Okay.
So they was aware to have to be here and speak if they, is there power on the house?
There is no power, and there is no water. After going back and doing some talking and asking some questions, this house actually, and I actually talked to the lady that this was her dad's house. She said that Dad built the house and they had insurance on the house. The house flooded during a big rainstorm, so it flooded. They had enough insurance to not do all the repairs, but start the repairs. So once they started the repairs and started getting some stuff done, the house flooded again for the second time. They said insurance would not pay for the second damage because the first damage hadn't been completed yet. So they started tearing out again. Anyway, the house flooded for a third time. So I do know that the power company is aware of it and the water company is aware of it. They will not, restore power or water to the house.
Why does it keep flooding?
It's in a floodplain.
Rain.
How long ago did it flood?
The first time she told me about 12 years ago, then about 10 years ago, then about 8 years ago, and I mean, it's just a.
So it's been a long time ago.
It's just built in a bad spot.
Yes, it's, I
Okay.
mean, and that's that area, if you're familiar with Williams Road, I mean, we have flooding there all the time. There's a, apartment, like, I'm gonna call it an apartment complex, but like a duplex that's right, the property right next door. And, they've gone in there and actually built a levee around the little duplex apartment complex to keep water out of it. So, we got called out there because if you'll go back to some of the first pictures, that right there. So they were in there, there was a bunch of couches, a bunch of just household furniture in the front yard. And they were burning all that stuff in the front yard. Well, the embers got away from them and actually got in this dead oak tree that's on the neighbor's property. Well, when we got there, there was 3 vehicles on the neighbor's property that was parked under that, and actually the lady that was doing all the burning called us and said that she was, afraid that the tree was gonna fall. So that's the reason why the fire department went out there, and then that's when we found all this.
So somebody was living in there, or?
She says they're not living in there, but there's a bunch of signs of people living in there. There's extension cords run from adjacent properties to this property.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
with my own eyes, I did not see anybody living in the house.
But no power, no water. So,
Mold.
It is
Mold,
District-
yeah, there's mold everywhere.
District
Right.
1, is that right?
Yeah, it's in District 1.
Yes, sir,
I
this is-
think we've seen enough.
Oh, that's right, okay.
With that sheetrock coming down, I would bet there's some structural issues.
Yeah.
Well, there is, and I did not take pictures of the roof, but there is tarps on the roof. In one of those pictures, you may be able to see it.
Let's see. Something. That is-
I think, yeah, that,
is that a metal roof on it?
so it's a
Looks like
metal
it.
roof that they have come and put over some of it. Some of it's still got shingles on it. But where the tarps are at, they just put the metal roof over the tarps.
What's going on with this image here?
According to her, she said that it's
Somebody's
some
done.
families that all live right there together. She does not actually live down there anymore. But she said people just take it and just use it as a dump, basically. But the whole, I couldn't even get in the garage. The whole garage looks just like that. It's pretty bad.
Gentlemen, you've seen the photos, you've heard the recitation from Brett about some of the life safety issues. The fact that there's no water and no power is obviously that's meaningful for us because there's really not any way for that property to be conditioned or to stay habitable to any degree. So based on that, the staff's recommendation would be that you go ahead and take action to declare that this is a property under 43-35-103 that needs to be condemned. Instruct the fire coordinator and anyone else associated with our emergency response area or law enforcement to secure the property so that it cannot be inhabited, so that it cannot be accessed or entered, and then initiate the process through community development to have the court actually determine on the basis of your finding that the property needs to be remediated. That would be the recommendation.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
I made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That public hearing is closed.
All right. You ready to jump back to? Now we will jump back to Miss Stacy McNick. You can come up. And before I forget, I'd like to wish my wife a happy birthday. She's 55 today.
Oh.
You were doing okay.
You
I
just
was
went
going
one
well.
step too far, didn't you?
I
Yeah.
meant to do it earlier, and then I forgot.
But it
and
is
I
good
said,
to
well, let me-
remember, because
Yeah,
I
I did
know how
remember.
bad you are about forgetting
Right,
to
yeah.
introduce her.
So she can't say that I didn't tell her happy birthday.
That's right.
Right. Right.
Yeah, let me go ahead and go before you dig a deeper hole. Item A, petitions to adjust 25 homestead exemption supplemental roll.
Motion to approve.
Steve made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, petitions for change of assessment on 25 real property assessments.
Motion to approve.
Steve made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now back to Mr. Slay.
Mr. Slade, before you start on the A, under set public hearings, I'd like to table A for a later date.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and vote on that one, because we might be able to do that, some of these
Yes, sir.
others together.
Yes, sir. So I would just need a motion on item A, a motion to table consideration of the setting of the public hearing for item A to a date certain. Brad, do you have some?
Well, I mean, he needs to get back with the building department with
Yes, sir.
some more information.
Okay,
until
so
I
what I
receive-
would suggest, rather than tabling, I would suggest that we are not going to act to set the public hearing on December 1. Go ahead and say now, we are not setting the hearing for item A, and we're gonna pass item A. Brad,
Okay.
would that be
That'd be
your
my-
motion
that'd
to
be my
pass
motion.
item A?
To pass
All right.
item A, not set that for December the 1st.
Right. Steve, you seconding that
I'm
motion?
second, I'm
Thank you.
seconding it.
All right.
Brad made a motion to pass item A. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So what that means is that Mr. Singh's request for a conditional use permit will need to go back through our process. It's not completed, okay? All right. Mr. President, if I may, items B, C, D, E, F, and G, since they are to set public hearings for December 1, one motion would suffice.
I make that motion.
I second that. Steve made a motion. I second the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item H is a public hearing on the Victoria Geller conditional use permit, 159 Belgrove Circle. It's a District 2 property. Ms. Geller is seeking a conditional use for a short-term rental. It is at 159 Belgrove Circle. The property is a 3-bedroom home. It's located within the Belgrove subdivision. It's zoned R1B. Control of the property's condition and maintenance will remain with the owner at all times. Ms. Geller has established her own house rules, which include the maximum number of guests in the home at 8, no parties or events, no commercial photography, no smoking, and a requirement that the guests treat the property and their neighbors with respect. These conditions, as proposed by the applicant, would be in addition to our standard conditions that we normally set for any short-term rental permit that is issued by this board. If the board wishes, I can quickly go through those additional conditions if you need those. I think you've all been presented with a copy. If not, we'll just bypass that. And so that public hearing is open. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Victoria Geller conditional use permit. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition on the matter. Unless the board has questions or needs continuing discussion, we'll close the public hearing. Okay, this time it would be appropriate to take action on the request.
I'll make a motion that we grant that.
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Gentlemen, the next item under my section is a public hearing on the Brett Denson conditional use permit. This is again a short-term rental permit request, 101 Wildwood Lane, District 2. That public hearing is open. Mr. Denson is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a short-term rental at 101 Wildwood Lane. It's located within the Belgrove subdivision. The property is zoned R1B. Mr. Denson has been informed of the general conditions typically applied by the Board of Supervisors to all short-term rental approvals. In addition, he has established his own house rules. Again, include no parties. Neighbors may contact the property owner or local authorities if any issues arise. That's a good one. No dogs that are considered aggressive. Guests must provide their own dog bedding or crate, and the dogs may not be left unattended on the property. That public hearing is open. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Brett Denson conditional use permit request. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter. The standard short-term rental conditions would apply here as well. No, by the way, I mentioned to you guys that under under our short-term rental ordinance, we have a limitation on the number by percentage of short-term rentals that are allowed within a given subdivision. So I wanted to mention that to you at this juncture. Your staff has done the calculations on these requests. None of these requests are going to be triggering that 10% limitation. They're all well within the 10% rule as I am suggesting it. And we've also clarified our approach to doing the calculation to make it by subdivision phase, so that we can kind of drill down even more narrowly tailored, so that we don't get a helping of units in a particular subdivision phase to the exclusion of the other phases of the development. And so we're kind of monitoring it on that basis. So,
Brian, how are we, as we get more and more signed up, how are we tracking how to invoice them the next year?
It comes up each year, I think, in June.
Ashley's got it on an Excel, we got
Yeah.
reminders on the calendar.
So each year, we're gonna send out reminders, hey, are you still a short-term rental? Is everything the same? They'll pay their fee, then they'll be good for another year.
So are we going and doing an inspection prior to allowing them to open this?
Yeah, yes, we do inspections on every one of
Okay.
these,
Will they be re-inspected before the next year?
every year. We re-inspect them when they re-up, we do another
But
inspection before.
that's
they-
included in the fee, is
Yes.
that correct?
But
Yes,
I just want, I mean, we're doing a lot of these right now, not to suggest that there wasn't already a lot of rental properties.
right.
exactly,
This is a better way of managing it,
yes.
and we also put stipulation of how many. That's what Greg was talking about. So
Yes, sir.
I think it's good the way that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
handling
Well,
it.
the property's being upkept
Yep.
better
That's
than
right.
long-term rental.
Oh,
That's right.
yep, yep.
The 500 feet's gonna be the one that's gonna really,
In the future, yeah,
in the future, that's gonna
Yeah.
be what's gonna,
It's gonna test us.
yeah, yeah.
So how do we come up with that number? Why do we not want two sitting side by side?
Yeah, it's, Jay, typically, under our process, the thought process was, we want to kind of spread them out and not allow them to be grouped together, for reasons that together, multiple, potential party situations where people can literally rent units that are adjacent to each other and thereby expand the gathering. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Trying
So
to
I
keep
think
it
that was the
more,
concern. Spread them out.
neighborhood friendly.
Yes,
And if they wanna do that, they can go rent a hotel,
sure.
you know.
or a location like at a park.
Yeah.
Where you've got, if they wanted to do a family gathering, I'm coming up with an idea here.
No, I
A
was just
family
curious how we
Yeah.
even wildly come up with that, so.
Spread them out so that we don't get them grouped together where a much larger group that would not be able to fit within one unit could potentially fit within two or three that are close together.
And you could potentially have, in a brand new subdivision, somebody going by 10% of the houses all
Yep.
on one street.
Yep.
Like I want them now, and these are all gonna be short-term rentals right here,
Yep.
without some sort of distancing
Correct.
between them,
Right.
so,
Correct.
yeah.
That was the idea, and eliminate some of the more corporate level type behavior that you might see.
Yeah.
Right, so as a short-term rental, it has some natural restrictions that come from that. They're not gonna be used for greater than a 6-month period of time.
Yeah.
So that
And
was
it-
kind of the thought process.
It encourages people to go ahead and apply too, right?
Yeah.
To be first up.
Yes,
Right.
to get into compliance, that's exactly right. And I think that's why we're addressing these frequently now, is that we've turned our attention to make sure that the ones that we know are operating, and we can tell that from looking at the social media, right? If we know they're operating, we make contact and
Or
say,
you
hey,
just go do a search
you've
for
got compliance.
Yeah,
Yep, so-
Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly. So these are folks that are already operating and are wanting to get in compliance with the short-term rentals.
Oh, so are we catching them, and this is
Yes,
why
sir.
they're doing it?
Well, we haven't, I mean, some have came forth, like, I mean, Brett told us, Brett Denson, he said, I wanna do what the county requires. He
Yeah.
is all for what we're doing, but yes, sir, we're catching a lot of these on
Okay.
social media.
All right.
So, I don't think we voted, did we?
No.
We hadn't.
I'll make a motion that we approve that one. So,
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? Jay, anything else?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item J, gentlemen, is the public hearing on Mr. Denson, again, the conditional use permit for 150D Barefoot Springs Road. This is District 4 property. This is also a short-term rental application. It's a conditional use to operate a short-term rental at 150D Barefoot Springs Road. Property is 9.41 acres. It's zoned A2. The applicant resides on this property. It's a short-term rental unit in an existing shop with living quarters located near a pond. Mr. Denson has been informed of the general conditions typically applied by the Board of Supervisors to our short-term rental approvals. In addition, he's established his own house rules, no parties. Same as the prior one. Neighbors can contact the law enforcement if things go awry, and then attention is given to any pets that are on site. We've not received any calls in opposition on this one. Again, the general conditions that you apply to your short-term rentals will apply to this one. I will ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to Mr. Denson's conditional use permit request at 150D Barefoot Springs Drive. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Don't see anyone here to speak in opposition on that one, gentlemen. So this time, unless you have questions, we'll close that public hearing and be appropriate to take action.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, gentlemen, is a public hearing on the Cesar Vielman conditional use permit at 509 Mockingbird Circle. This is a District 5 property. Mr. Vielman is seeking a conditional use permit to operate a short-term rental at 509 Mockingbird Circle. It's located in the Barnett Bend subdivision. The property is zoned R1B. It's a 2-night minimum stay on this one. The property is personally managed by Mr. Vielman. Mr. Vielman has been informed of the general conditions typically applied to short-term rentals. We've not received any calls in opposition. That public hearing is open. I will ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Cesar Vielman conditional use permit request. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Gentlemen, any questions, Mr. Vielman? Standard conditions will be applicable to this one as well.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jay made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I wanted to express appreciation to our community development staff for being on top of this stuff and staying on top of it. Thank you guys for your work on that. Makes what I have to do super simple and easy, so thank you for that. Gentlemen, we've already addressed item L. Item M is consideration of and potential action to adopt a resolution of intent to hold a public hearing and consider the written request for an increase in the fire protection millage levied for the benefit of Langford Fire Protection District, requiring notice of a public hearing for December the 1st at 9 a.m. in the office of the Rankin County Board of Supervisors, requiring publication of a copy of the resolution of intent in the Rankin County News for 3 consecutive weeks, and requiring the posting of a copy of the resolution of intent in 3 places in Rankin County as required by Mississippi Code Section 19-5-189C. So gentlemen, you should have, I think, Ms. Sam, did they have a copy of the resolution? Okay, thank you. So you've got a copy of the resolution that would, that is before you in draft form, that would allow for what I just read off of the agenda item for you. This request came to you in recent days. You acknowledged receipt of this request at the last board meeting, and this is the first step in the process to make that official. Representatives of Langford Volunteer Fire Department are present with us today. Should you have any questions, I have engaged in significant communication with those guys. I pointed them to the recent activity on behalf of the Reservoir Fire Protection District, where the board was engaged by Reservoir Fire for the purpose of increasing the millage levy associated with support, public funding support for the Reservoir Fire Protection District. So I pointed to that as an example of a process that was effective to get the word out and notice to the public about the request. I pointed out that the Reservoir Fire folks were very actively engaged on social media to get the word out to the community. They hosted public meetings at multiple locations in their district so that they could answer questions that may come up. And so I just pointed them in that direction as a way to follow suit, so to speak, to try to help get the word out about this. This process, if you choose to go farther, allows for the resolution of intent. That is not your action to actually impress additional millage support. It is a way for the public to be notified that you are considering the request. The public hearing, where you will hear from the public, would occur on the date that you set by way of this resolution, which is December the 1st. And so it would be on December the 1st that folks within the Reservoir Fire Protection District would come, the Langford Fire Protection District would come forward and address any concerns, questions, whatever they want, however they want to engage with you. They would do that on December the 1st. That would be their opportunity to participate. The residents of Langford Fire Protection District, how that district boundary, and by the way, that was formed in 2024. This board formed the Langford Fire Protection District in 2024. It went into effect in July. And so there's a district boundary, and we can determine who are the residents, who are the qualified electors, who are eligible to participate in the discussion and the determination that is before you. They fall within that district, they own property within that district. And so those are the folks that we need to hear from about this request, because they are the only ones that are going to be responsible for paying a millage in accordance with whatever this board determines. And so the qualified electors, 20% of the qualified electors within that district can get together and actually execute a petition that they then present to this board before December the 1st that says we want an election on this question. That is how the process works. You have to have a petition signed by 20% of the qualified electors saying that we want an actual election on this question. That then removes it from you as a decision-making authority, and it puts it in the hands of the electors at an election, and they make their own decision that way. But that process does not move forward without the receipt by this board of a petition signed by 20% of the qualified electors. Is everybody clear?
Yeah.
So your resolution of intent would say, we're going to talk about this on December the 1st. If you've got a notion to put a petition in front of us that causes an election to be triggered, you need to get busy and get that done. Otherwise, the decision will default back to the Board of Supervisors.
What's the
Questions?
population in that fire protection district?
I honestly have no idea. I couldn't answer that question.
Any of the firemen?
Do you know how many houses?
House is about 2,000.
About 2,000
Yeah.
houses, yeah.
So
Well,
you're talking about
the housetops doesn't matter, it's qualified electors, so you'd have to know
who's the rest?
who's.
Well, it's
who
gonna
are the-
matter when they get time to pay the bill, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are the qualified electors that are represented by 200 houses, 2,000 houses?
So, yeah, I I'd like to see, what are we looking at before I vote on this? I wanna know where our budget is and why we need to go up.
Chief, if you guys are in a position to be able to help answer some of those questions, please
Yes, sir.
feel free.
I don't have any evidence to put on the screen or anything today, but my name's Shane Adams. I'm the fire chief of Langford Fire Department. I've been here since, actually was there when Langford Fire Department started in 1990, and I've been the chief since 2021. Y'all formed a fire protection district for us. We were in a pretty bad shape with repairs to trucks. You know, we had a repair to a truck that was $20,000, and it took all of the funds that we used, or funds that we raised over a 2-year period to even pay for that one repair to that one vehicle. So that didn't account for any other expenses. So y'all got together, formed a fire protection district for us, brought in a board of commissioners that are, you know, a selection of business leaders and other, you know, government leaders in the area. They provided some really good management. Over the past year, we've been able to repair vehicles, pay the light bill, insurance, things like that. With what we formed the fire protection district with, we're able to pay our operations, and we're good there. We've been able to repair trucks in an efficient manner. The truck that we leased from y'all, it's a 2002 Kenworth. It's part of an aging fleet, and we've had to do things. We've been able to get it back on the road very quickly. Prior to us being a fire protection district, we might have a truck that sat for a few months out of service. We do a lot of mutual aid in the county. We run about 400, well in advance of 400 calls. A lot of that's out of our district, even into paid areas like Reservoir, Flowwood, and things like that. But we go up into the north part of the county a lot. We have a volunteer force, 30 people that are available. So we step out a lot to help take care of the rest of the community, not just the 2,400 rooftops that we're under. So what we're trying to do is, as we looked, we looked at our community, and as it grows and things like that, we understand that the 2 mills that we've already got, they cover our expenses. We're good there. We can pay for gas, we can pay for repairs and things like that, but we can't do anything else. And so things like our fire station, we've already got equipment that's parked in the parking lot. We've got equipment that's in our building that needs to be parked in the parking lot because we have no room inside our station. We have no training room space. We know we've got to make, improvements to our existing building. With what we have nothing left over to do that. So we could either come and appeal to y'all to help build a new fire station and things like that. We don't really want to do that. We know y'all have other responsibilities and other places that you need to put funds. The fire truck that we lease from y'all is a 2002 Kenworth. It's about to age out. It's getting to the point where repairs, it takes more to repair it. Our tanker that we won on a grant back in 2009, that's the one that we have when we have issues with it, it's major issues. And so we know that we're intending a truck purchase, pumper and a tanker. We run 2 pumpers so that we can help get our rating down. We're trying to get our rating from a 7 to a 6. We have to have 2 rated pumpers in order to do that, to make sure that we've got people on scene. That comes from the rating bureau. We can't run like a lot of other county departments with just 1 and hold it at 7. We have to have 2 trucks. So we know that we're coming, upon a purchase of a fire truck. So I say all that to go back to, with the money that we have and the 2 mills that we have, we know our operating expenses are good and we're satisfied there, but we absolutely can't do any capital purchase, whether it's improvements to the station or whether it's getting a fire truck to meet a lower rating. And so that's what we're wanting to get the 2 more mills for, is to start putting money into capital purchases or capital expenditures we can use.
Shane, with 2 more mills, do you think that would give you the extra revenue to be able to drop the rating from a 7 to a 6 over a period of a year or 2?
Yes, sir.
I
tell people the 2 things aren't related. The fire protection district and the insurance rating is not that,
Right.
One doesn't equal the other. We as a department have to do our part. But as we increase our scores, as we increase points with the insurance rating bureau of things that we do, better equipment, better fire trucks, more training and things like that, we have to be able to sustain that. And so, and for instance, if the fire truck goes down, and we've had it several times, but we've been able to, again, get it fixed pretty quick. But if it goes down, then we're down to 1 truck, and now we won't be able to sustain the rating. So I caution people to not, hold me to, if we increase the millage, we will go down. But the 2 are related. We have to increase the millage to be able to afford the expenses that it takes to keep a lower fire rating, because it takes more work.
How many volunteers do you say you get?
31 on our roster today.
That's tremendous. In Rankin County, that's big. And y'all do a great job of trying to raise money to help with your turnouts and stuff like that. I mean, if you live around the Langford area, you're gonna see these guys from time to time out trying to help themselves, trying to raise money for the fire department. So I am behind it. When it comes to first responders, that's one of the great things about Rankin County, is you can expect when you make a 911 call that somebody's coming, and you probably will be part of that if it's in the north part of the county.
Sure.
So what does that 2 mills generate today?
About $70,000, $70,000. So, and our utilities are about 25,000 a year, things like that. Fuel, keeps going beyond that. So that's
So
what
are y'all on the list for a fire truck, Brian? Oh, you done left?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got
I'm
one, we did
assuming
receive
it's a
one a few years
rotation.
ago.
I'm assuming they are.
You got what?
We were on the rotation. We did receive a new truck a few years ago. But we don't know that we're on the list for a tanker. I know that's part of the cycle too. But we did receive a new fire truck. But again, we run 2 rated pumpers to every call, or to every fire call or fire alarm call. And the rating bureau says we have to do that in order to get our rating down to a 6. And that's the thing it'll separate us from other, more rural departments that don't have the responders and things like that we're fortunate to have. But we have to run 2 rated pumpers. So we got 1 new truck from y'all, and then we were able to get one of the old trucks from y'all and through a lease program so that we can have 2 rated pumpers.
When you say new truck, you're talking about over 10-year-old truck now.
Well, we have one that's less than 10 years. We have one of the Pierce responders from 2022, I think.
Okay,
took
and then the
delivery of it.
other's 2009 or something.
Yeah, the
like
other
that.
is 2002, yeah. It's one of the old trucks.
Yeah.
But it was one that y'all were in the process of getting rid
Yeah.
of, and we were able to
Surplus.
pull it in because we needed another rated pumper.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a pumper or is it a truck?
It's a pumper.
Wait,
So we have
a tanker, that's right. So a pumper is like the long ones, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Everybody rides on?
Pretty much,
Or
yeah,
in?
the 2-door, yeah, the 4-door,
Yeah.
4-door cab. So we have 2 pumpers and then 1 tanker. And so what we ultimately would like to do is consolidate that to a pumper, that second truck to a pumper tanker. So it's just 1 piece of equipment. But those are $500,000, $600,000. There's just, there's no way
Yeah.
with what we've got that we can.
Right.
And, and I know y'all have a rotation going there and things like that. I don't know, where we fall into that, but,
Yeah, me either.
we
I
don't
know
where
we've
we
taken
fall
some
into
and
that.
converted them and made our own tankers, so.
Right.
but
Yeah.
I just, I didn't know what kind of money we were looking at. So on the fire rating, and you may not know the answer to this, what's the most that we have out in the county?
I mean, I'm thinking,
Department's a 7.
Okay.
The volunteer departments are all
Volunteer
7.
department.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the volunteer departments are all 7.
full-time, I mean, you gotta have somebody there full-time,
Right, I
I
was
think, to
talking
get
about
to
All,
5
you know,
or
like,
something.
what's the highest we have?
Pretty
the
much,
worst, yeah.
yeah.
7 is it?
Is there a place in Rankin County that is not covered, that's higher than a 7, it doesn't have a response?
To my knowledge, every place is covered by at least a grade 7. There may be a few little dead areas that don't have to meet the 5 road miles that the
Yeah,
state rating
right.
bureau requires, but I would say that's very few.
Are those few in my area?
I would have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Look on the eastern side.
Probably so.
Yeah. I mean, we're the most rural area.
That's it, yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Any
All
other
right.
questions?
I guess I would just address what you mentioned is, I mean, if you guys approve doing a public hearing, we'll do some things at some public meetings to make sure that everybody in the community is on board, that our leadership and board of commissioners has conveyed exactly what those funds will be used for, and what that long-term strategy is.
I would go ahead and get ready for all that.
I hear you. Right.
People don't like to be shocked.
For sure.
They want to have a heads up.
All right, good deal. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you all for what you do too.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yep, thank y'all.
Just kind of close that discussion out before we entertain a motion on this particular item. When Langford approached in '24 to establish the Fire Protection District, it was acknowledging that the days of being able to raise support through voluntary donations is fast leaving us, guys. It is so expensive to provide fire protection, especially in the rural areas, that the idea of allowing these departments to basically raise their own support through voluntary donations, it's just simply not gonna cut it. You're not gonna be able to adequately fund and adequately sustain what is required by the Rating Bureau to drive your grades down meaningfully to get benefit from homeowners' insurance policy premiums. So this provides for stability in funding that allows them to sustain what they're trying to deliver. That's beneficial to everyone. And so it was clear on the front end. I recall talking to Shane. I'm pretty confident you and I talked about it before we established the Fire Protection District, that we got to get out of the volunteer fundraising business. And that it was clear and understood, by the way, at that time, that the statute provides that the millage can only be a maximum of 2 mills. That's why you set it at 2, because that's what state law says, that's as much as you can give. So this was a natural follow-up request to that initial request to establish the district. Now get the funding that is adequate to provide what they need in resources. We needed another year, and that's why we're here. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
But this will put them where they kind of felt like they needed to be 2 years ago. We're gonna get them where they need to be. All right, so what I would need now is, if you are prepared to do so, I need a motion to authorize the adoption of the resolution of intent along with all of those requirements that go with that adoption.
I make that motion.
I'll say,
Steve made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
Craig, on the state statute, I mean, if we are able to get them an additional 2 mills, is there a waiting period before they can request that again, or?
No, sir. There's nothing in the statute that says they have to wait a certain length of time.
So they can
before
come back
Yeah, so
2 years, a
issue,
year,
Brad,
or whatever, yeah.
I will defer to she's already left, but I was gonna defer to my tax assessor, because there's a reality that when you guys adopt a millage increase like this for fire protection service, that can only be implemented at certain points in time, given the way that our tax levies work.
Right.
So this action, in reality, and I've already communicated this to Chief, the bad news is, even if you were to act, let's say that you guys said, well, we're gonna bypass all that, we're just gonna go ahead and adopt it right now. You would be violating state law, but if you could set it right now. We've already impressed our budget. You've already adopted your millage. It's already been set and has been levied, and you will be going out with tax bills in about a month that reflects that, and this millage will not be on there.
Be the next,
It's not gonna be on there, by the way, until January of 27.
yeah.
So I've already reported to the chief, if you are intending on moving forward and impressing the 2 mill increase, it will not be realized until January of 27. The tax bills in January 27 will reflect the new millage impressed.
Gotcha.
They're very aware of that, and that's why we're doing it now.
Yep.
It's to try not to be behind the 8 ball with the developments, and I hate to say this, the aging of our communities, the more calls that we get that are medical in nature. It's just part of life if we wanna have a great area to go to and feel safe.
I think there's an expectation in the communities, even in the rural areas, that if they get in trouble, somebody's coming to help them. That has a cost.
Yep.
So, at any rate,
All in favor?
thank you.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Sid.
Thank you.
Item N is acknowledgement of receipt of an application for amendment to the Rankin County Solid Waste Management Plan. This is filed by Southern Environmental Group Incorporated. Authorization of the board attorney and the county administrator to conduct all required activities and do all things necessary to carry out the county's requirements and responsibilities under the solid waste management plan in order to consider the application. You are authorizing engineering service, number one, to prepare and issue the public notice, to prepare and mail the notifications to adjacent property owners as required, and adjacent counties, and to prepare all notification, So anyway, that's what we're doing here. This application is received. This is something that we routinely do whenever there is going to be an addition to your existing Class 2 rubbish pit that is at Mount Helm. That's what this is. Anytime we get an application to expand or increase the services that are offered there, you have to amend your solid waste management plan to reflect that before it can be implemented. DEQ is involved in this process. They have their own process that is underway. This is the county's piece of this. So we would ask for action on this.
I'm for it. I vote to approve. It's my understanding that most of this is actually a buffer to where we are minimizing the a case that somebody bought in there and didn't know that this was a rubbish pit.
An active pit.
Yeah, and so this buffer goes around, I think, two sides of it, all the way around.
I'll second it.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So it's clear, you're not acting to approve it, you're acting to set the required notifications, and the hearing will be later. Just wanted to make sure you were aware of that, okay? Thank you, Mr. President. I do have some executive session to discuss with you guys.
Mr. Hicks, will you step right on up?
Good morning.
Good morning.
First item is acknowledgement of receipt from the Department of Revenue that Rankin County has complied with the criteria set forth in that code section. And authorizes the county to expend its $1 million for our tax assessor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jay made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is authority to publish the premium list for the Rankin County livestock shows for '26.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is authorization of the board president and myself to execute an amended agreement with CMPDD, and we're adding services related to our hazardous mitigation plan updates and health emergencies.
What's the bill for that?
I looked at it, Jay. I don't remember off the top of my head. Let's see.
$3,000.
Is that a one-time deal or is
Yes,
that
I
annual?
believe it
Yes,
is.
That's to update our hazard mitigation plans.
That's
It has to be
one
done every
time.
5 years.
All right. I make motion to approve.
Second.
Jay made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item D is authority to enter into a MOU with the town of Pillahatchee, and this will transfer excess weather warning sirens to the town for an agreed upon price. And the Pillahatchee will pick this up
I'll
tonight.
make a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
One thing, for December, the planning commission meeting, I don't think, do you have anything scheduled? Okay, so we kind of avoided scheduling anything before we came and talked to you. If we were to have one, it would be Wednesday before Christmas. So we've scheduled everything, so we don't have to have one, but we want your approval not to have one.
Brian, I'm trying to remember, somebody asked me about being on that December.
Everybody that we've talked to, we have them scheduled.
Been able to work it out?
Yes, sir.
To where they wasn't working all the way over into
Yes, sir.
next year.
Yes, sir. So far, we've gotten everybody's good. that's applied.
Okay.
So we'll plan on skipping the December.
Yes.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Do you need any kind of action on the election equipment? Or, in addition?
Well,
Have you finished going through and looking at everything?
we looked at it, we'd kinda like a few more days to, you know, really dive deep into it. We've gotten a little bit of feedback, but we have some discussion we'd like to do. Because of the tight time frame, since we did away with one meeting, we're asking possibly Thursday, we can have some election commissioners here if the board has any questions. If we could come in at 9 o'clock on Thursday, this week, and make a decision at that time.
Okay.
So when we recess out, instead of November 14th, it would be, was that the 7th?
Oh, you want us to
Six.
schedule another meeting?
Just recess out until November 6th of this week, yes, sir.
Does it have to be
Why
acted
not?
upon
Wait,
this quickly?
Why not to the 15th? Yeah,
Well, the 14th is next Friday,
yeah.
and it's really pushing our time limit on making sure we notify
The vendor, I think, has got to have time to get
to
the
have it
equipment
in here
to
by March. Just a
Well, I
week.
think a week would be all right. And if not, we'll use what we got.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hicks. Any additional business?
Unless y'all wanna come meet again this week.
No, I don't.
Okay.
All right,
No more additional business?
I believe I see it.
I'll make a motion,
Is it a
discuss the
need?
need for executive session.
Yes. Second.
Brad made a motion, discuss the need for executive session. Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
What
I don't know.
the need would be land acquisition.
Yes, potential litigation,
Okay.
and then under 25-41-7, subparagraph 4, you're looking at item G, item H, I'm sorry, not item H, item G, and item J. Those would be the bases.
That'd be my motion.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
In executive.
I don't know where you're pulling that G and H
I don't
from.
know.